Okay, so we continue with our Friday afternoon class, Halachos of Brachos. Today, class number 10. We start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim, consumer protection. So it's page 194. Consumer protection is important, but sensitive area which allows the information to be conveyed letter Ellis for constructive purpose. So if you know that somebody is not good and somebody is approaching you to get the information, so under certain circumstances, you're allowed to speak negatively. Right? If a shopkeeper hands a customer too little change or charges him for something he did not purchase, one must not assume that the storekeeper is dishonest or careless. We all make mistakes. So just because he didn't, I mean, it happened a few times in my life. But then I thought maybe I don't know. Maybe that's what I saw on the scales. One price, but they calculated. Don't be like so particular based. Okay. If it happens often. One must bring the matter to the shopkeeper's attention and inform him that if the practice continues, one will have no choice but inform his clientele. Right? So basically, you ask this guy, maybe it was honest mistake. You never know. But otherwise, yeah, you have to say, I'm going to tell other people. If the situation still does not change, one is required to warn people to count their change carefully and examine their receipts for any mistakes. Maybe he had a thing or two. Right? It is forbidden to insinuate that the man is dishonest, even if one has a reason to suspect so, since it is sufficient for people to think that he's careless or has a problem with arithmetics. For them to take the necessary precautions. So maybe it's before the time of this electronic cash register, right? So they say count your change, basically. So maybe he's careless. Don't say right away he's cruel. Maybe he's careless. He does not know how to count and stuff like that. Okay. It would also be forbidden to inform hot-headed individual who, for example, might vandalize the store in the name of the justice. I don't know, they don't put the justice in double quote, but that's what it is. So hot-headed people, stay away from. Okay, let's stop here. So continue. So we are continuing with the same topic. Big topic is Ikar and Tofu. So we are up to E. So let's see, what is E? Combination. So we go through all of the different situations. So what was the one before? E? D, determine the Ikar in component of the mixture. Okay, that was the one before. And today we learn combination which are not considered single entity. Okay. We have thus far seen in section C and D that when separate foods are in the mixture, which is judged as one single entity. So of course we're talking about halachically, right? Single entity. Only one bracha is required. When foods are eaten in a combination, which are not classified single entity, it is neither physically nor halachically a single entity. Separate brachas are required for various foods. Okay, so now we're going into details. Determine the appropriate bracha for other combinations involve two issues. First, we must determine that the combination in question is indeed not considered a single entity, which this issue is dealt with in the first part of the section E1. Okay, so E1. Okay, so just so we understand, the example would be you have like chicken and string beans, right? Even though it's one dish, but it's not single-ended, it's not mixed. Okay. After we have established that a particular combination is indeed not single entity, we must determine which bracha or brachas, right, are appropriate for such combination. This is dealt with in the second part of the section E2. Okay. So now is one combinations which are not single entity. The following types of food combination are not considered single entity. A, food mixed with the beverage. So like soup, for example, it's not single entity. When salad foods pieces are added to the beverage, for example, mandolin added to the clear broth, it's like croutons, right? The resulting product does not become single entity. However, if the liquid and salad were cooked together, for example, tomato rice soup, the resulting product is considered single entity. So okay, so I'll take it back. So they say if it was cooked together. So we'll see. It's not always single entity. Okay, so let's put it aside for now. Okay, so they say if they combine them after cooking, like these croutons, they put it into the soup. So it's two separate entities. If they were cooked together, we'll see. Don't jump to any conclusions. Not so simple. Continue. Furthermore, if the liquid is absorbed into the salad, for example, cake dipped into the whiskey, donut dipped into the coffee, it is considered a single entity according to the most paskim, but not everybody. So if one wants to do it like this, meaning to drink coffee and dip donut, dip whatever they want in the coffee. So the proper way would be to make two separate blessings. So you make a blessing on a donut, right? Mizonis, and then you say shechako and coffee, and then you can combine. You can eat in any manner you want. That's up to you. Okay. Okay, so that would be according to all opinions, but to dip a donut in the coffee and see whatever absorbed, not a good idea. Okay. B, sandwich type combinations. The two distinct foods eaten one on top of the other, for example, fried egg on a rice cake, or a sandwich style, are not being mixture, not being a mixture, and not considered single entity. So just because it's one thing is on top of the other does not mean they're mixed, right? So in this case, also we need the two separate blessings. This rule does not apply to cases in which the two solids are baked together. Okay, so first, in the first instance, we said one was laying on top of the other, like cooked separately, but second case is when they were baked together. In this this rule does not apply to the cases in which the two solids are baked together to form one unique product. For example, if one eats a sliced apple on a cracker, or pineapple filling on a cookie, okay. The combination is not single entity. However, if the fruit or cake is baked together to form a single product, for example, fruit topped Danish, okay, the combination is considered single entity. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah.
But milk and cereal aren't cooked together, and they're considered one entity. And then there's a ikra, then there's a tuffle over there. So why over here there's also not an ikra and a tuffle?
No, I mean cereal, not like what kind of cereal?
It's not cooked with milk. Par of cereal, any par of cereal you want to tell me it's not.
Cereal. Okay, so it's not. You said not cooked together or cooked together. Cooking meaning there is like a hard cereal that you put. Okay, so we're not talking about. So this breakfast cereal the milk is secondary. You would not drink milk separately.
With the rice cake, I could also say it's separately. No, I mean, the two you add together, one's gonna be an ikr because you're eating it just, other than the egg is.
In this case, yes, but it's not mixed. If you don't have preferences, so if you don't have preference, so as we learned before, you eat this pineapple filling because why? Because you want this cracker very much. So if you want this cracker and you want to improve the cracker, so yes, of course. But usually, I mean, for me, I'm talking about myself. It's never the case. I don't feel like two separate things. I like this and I like this. So I would need to, and then they're not mixed. I would need to make two blessings. But you're right. If you have specific preference, yes. Or if you eat one because of the other, like this cereal, for sure. I mean, me personally, I would not drink milk. I would not. But I eat this milk. Why? Because of the cereal. So so example is a fruit topped Danish, right? Which is good example. They're baked together. So one blessing. Continue. Number 2. The Torah uses bracha or brachas to make on a combination which are not single entity. A non-single entity combination can be grouped into 2 categories: food other than mezonos, and one of the components is mezonos, except rice. Okay. So now we see how many blessings do we need to say, right? One or multiple. So okay. So A, food other than mezonos. Generally, when 2 foods are eaten together in a combination which is not single entity, 2 brachas are required. So we're going to see the examples now. However, if one of the foods is eaten to enhance the other, only one blessing is required. So that's exactly this case with cereal and milk. Okay. So continue. To illustrate, cottage cheese eaten on a wedge of fruit is not a single entity, since the components are not mixed together. Okay, let's see commentary. However, if the fruit is sliced and mixed with the cheese, it is considered single entity, and only one bracha is required. But that is on the ikar. Regarding how to determine the components, ikar, see section B. Go back, basically. Okay, so two cases. So he has a slice of apple, right? And he puts on top of this cottage cheese. So 2 separate entities. If you don't eat one because of the other, if you don't try and then improve one of the other, so by the other, so you make 2 blessings. You say on apple and then on cheese. But they say, so they never mix. But if you eat this apple because of the cheese, so for example, I don't know, maybe a crazy example. So you don't have a spoon for whatever reason. You have 1 spoon and it fell and it's dirty. And you don't have water to wash it with. Let's say, I don't know. So the only thing that you have is piece of apple. So you use apple instead of the spoon. So and sometimes from time to time you buy this apple. So in this case, it would be, I guess, like a second. Continue. If one eats this combination, neither to enhance the fruit with the cheese nor enhance cheese with the fruit, he requires to make 2 separate brachas. Commentary. If, however, one eats either of the cheese to enhance the fruit or fruit enhance the cheese, only 1 bracha is required. Okay. So let's try to understand. So if you like, for me, it's always the case. So I like this and I like this, right? So I would make 2 brachas. But if one enhances the other, you need only 1 bracha. If you like apples, for whatever reason, you like apples more than the cheese, and you eat this cheese just for satiation, right? This cottage cheese, let's say. Right? So you make the blessing on the apples, and it covers cheese, 100%. Continue. He should first make a bracha boreh prichoetz and eat some of the fruit without cheese, and then make shechakol and eat some of the cheese. commentary. Regarding why Borei Precoates takes precedence, see chapter 11. Okay, we're going to get to it. Okay, so basically, but before we get to chapter 11, it's going to take us, I don't know, maybe 6 months to get to that place. So just a quick summary. We always start with more precise bracha. So the most precise bracha would be on bread, right? After that, you will say Borei Precoates, meaning the fruit of the tree, right? So it's very small category of the produce actually included in that. Then you say Borei Precoat, which is a bigger scope, right? Then you say Mizoinist, right? It's also that's very specific scope. No, I apologize. I would say first Mizoinist, and then Borei Precoates, right? Of course, Borei Precoat Geffen and stuff like that, and then you go and then you say on the fruit of the tree, fruit of the ground, Borei Precoat and TeShuva. That's basic order. Yeah.
But if we make on bread, we don't need to make any other brachas, so it doesn't matter.
You're right. Yeah, I just wanted to bring out the what is it? The precedence. Yes, but you're right, 100%. If you make on bread, it's most of the things are included in that list, right? Okay. All right. So continue to further illustrate. So a different example. If one eats warm milk with rice in order to enhance the rice, okay, the milk would be covered by the bracha on the rice. Okay. If he really wanted the milk and added the rice to enhance the milk for whatever reason, maybe he has a sore throat, whatever, he wants warm milk, right? Then the bracha on the milk covers the rice. Very straightforward, right? So whatever you want to eat, whatever is your primary food is primary. And the second thing is covered. However, if he wants both foods equally, since the combination of the beverage and foods are not considered to be single entity, 2 brachas are required. So in some cases, we're going to apply this rule, right? So that solid foods and liquids are not mixture, right? They're not mixed. They're separate, and you would need 2 separate blessings. But in some instances, if you're talking about primary and secondary, Ikar and Toffel, so it's they don't have to be mixed, basically. Okay, so you make the blessing on the primary. Continue. B. One of the food is mizoinus. So now we spoke about that. Then A was none of the mizoinus, and now one of the food is mizoinus. When mizoinus is eaten together with other foods, a non-single entity combination, right? The following rules apply. So you have mizoinus. So you have you have barley, right? As a side dish, and you have some other things, right? You have corn, you have chicken, you have fish, whatever you have, doesn't matter. If either item is eaten to enhance the other, 2 brachas are required. Okay, first rule. Continue. Even if the mizoinus is being used to enhance, for example, ice cream on a graham cracker, 2 brachas are required. Let's read it one more time and we read the commentary. Even mizoinus is being used to enhance, so in some sense it's secondary, right? It's not primary. For example, ice cream on a graham cracker. I'm not sure why they would eat crackers with ice cream. Okay, but okay. 2 brachas are required. Commentary. In cases where mizoinus is being used to enhance the other food, since mizoinus product are choshuv, right? Meaning important. Even when they are used as enhancers, they do not become exempt from their bracha requirement. However, if the other food is eaten to enhance the mizoinus, For example, peanut butter on a cracker, the enhancer is tofu and will be covered by the bracha on mizonos, as we discussed in section B. Okay, I'd like to explain what we just said. So in all of these combinations, mizonos never secondary. Even it is secondary, right? It is secondary. So you want this, I don't know, you have this delicious piece of steak and you have this barley side dish. Of course, I mean, the steak is primary and this is secondary. But anyway, since it is mizonos, so you make blessing on this, or I don't know, maybe barley is not such a good example. You have spaghetti. I will have spaghetti, pasta. You have pasta with your steak, right? So you always make on a pasta, even steak is a primary. You always make on a pasta, and then you make on your steak. Make blessing on the steak. But if this mizonos is a primary, what would be example? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have any like good example right now, but we're going to make some examples. Okay, so basically, if you want both foods, so you make two blessings. But if mizonos is a primary, that's what your main focus is. So it covers the secondary, of course. Okay, continue. To illustrate, many people eat. Okay, here we go. Maybe this is a good example. To illustrate, many people eat ice cream sandwich because they enjoy both the ice cream and cookie. Okay, here we go. As such, two brachas would be made. Even if the cookie is eaten as an enhancer to the ice cream, it does not lose the bracha requirement. Commentary. In uncommon case that the wafer is eaten solely to hold the ice cream, not for the flavor it provided, it would not require separate bracha as discussed in BC3. Okay, so let's try to understand the situation. So he has this ice cream sandwich, right? Ice cream sandwich. So of course, you like the cookie, like on top, cookie on the bottom. That's right. That's what they very tasty, I guess. I don't eat this stuff, but I guess it's very tasty. So he would make a blessing on mizonos and separate blessing on the ice cream. But in the case, for example, the case that they give, as you say in this commentary, very uncommon situation. So basically, he eats this what is it? He wants exactly the combination as a sandwich. Why? So he would not get his hands soiled. He wants to hold it by the sandwich, basically. Okay. So if it's and he does not want it and stuff like that, then so in this case, he makes only one blessing on the ice cream, and it covers the it covers the mizonos part. Continue. First one must break off a piece of cookie. So as we said before, don't eat it together. Otherwise, like if you buy together this ice cream with cone, ice cream cone with ice cream, so it does not look good, right? So basically, it's like you already ate the combination. Why do you need the second bracha? Right. So first one should break off the piece of cookie and make bare mine mizonos. Next one should eat some of the ice cream and make a shechakol. Of course, I mean, but we got the point. He first may make shechakol, then eats, not the opposite. Okay. So part number 3, applications of non-single entity combinations. More applications of non-single entity combinations. Our example that we discussed earlier, cereal and milk. Most people add milk to their cereal to enhance the flavor of the cereal. Therefore, even though the cereal and milk combination is not considered a single entity, nevertheless, the bracha on the cereal will cover the milk. Commentary. Any milk left over in the bowl will also not require the separate bracha, since the milk was covered by the bracha on the cereal. So basically, since you already make the blessing on the cereal, so even if you have leftover, and it's always leftover, and plus, like I would add there is some still pieces, tiny pieces of cereal, like in that milk. It's not clear milk anyway. Some, I don't know, like crumbs of cereal. Okay. Continue. In the atypical case, atypical meaning non-typical, right? When one adds a milk, not to adds enhancer. For example, it is a high in calcium. He was on a high calcium diet, and is also interested in drinking milk. 2 brachas are required. So if he eats this cereal for satiation and milk for his calcium, so of course in this case he makes 2 blessings. Okay. So it was A, and now we're going to B. Also a very good example, I think. So it's a chicken soup with a mandolin. Most people regard mandolin, soup nuts, as an enhancer to the chicken soup. Therefore, the bracha on the mandolin will not cover the soup. Right? However, since the mandolin is mizonos, one is required to make bracha on them as well. One should first make borem in the mizonos and then shechakol on a soup. So the general rule is, if there is a mizonos, you must make the blessing on mizonos. It's primary, it's secondary, it does not matter. Continue. C. Chicken soup with matzah balls, kreplach. So kreplach is, what is kreplach? It's like ravioli, right? Kreplach, etc. When matzah ball soup is eaten together with a soup or as 2 distinct foods, as such, 2 brachas are required. So one more time. Often matzah balls are eaten together with the soup as 2 distinct foods. As such, the 2 brachas is required. Okay. Soup which is eaten to enhance the flavor of the matzah ball will be covered by mizonos, provided that the soup is eaten together on the same spoon with the matzah ball. Soup which is eaten separately will require shechakol. So here's a little different thing. Okay, so let's try to understand. There is a commentary. In a case where the soup was eaten mainly to enhance the matzah ball, and the bit of the soup was left over in the bowl, right? That bit of soup, even though it is eaten separately, will not require a new bracha. And as we said, same result about what is it about the milk in the cereal. So one more time. So if you have this mizonos, this what is it, matzah ball, right? I think it's always 2 separate blessings. I mean, you like this and you like that. I mean, 2 separate like entities, right? But in case he likes mizonos, he likes matzah ball, and he wants to eat soup only to enhance matzah ball, right? So in this case, you need only 1 blessing on the matzah ball, and soup is required. I said soup which is eaten separately will require shechakol. I'm not sure what is separately mean. He gets more food after he finishes the matzah ball. I'm not sure what does it mean, but because as we said before, if there is still a little left over in a plate, there is no problem just to finish this soup without blessing. So the way I see the straightforward approach to all of this, so you like everything, like, right? So you don't have any preferences. So you make always 2 blessings. That's it. So you don't drive yourself crazy. What depends on what? Maybe this, maybe that. Okay. So that's I think it's the easiest approach to remember, and it's going to be like and you can apply to all of the situations without exception. So now we go to D. Donuts dipped in coffee. According to a sample scheme, if one dips or breaks a cake into a beverage, for example, eats a donut and also drinks his coffee by dipping the donut into the coffee and consuming both items together, it is not considered a single entity. So sample scheme said, even though there is the coffee is trapped inside of the donut, it's not like 2 separate entities. They still so they say it's not single entity. Okay, even though you don't see the coffee, I mean you see the color of the donut change, but it's not. It's not single entity. Okay. However, most poskim rule that the liquids which is absorbed into the solid are considered single entity. So that's the most common approach. In difference probably, to the minority opinion, the poskim are advised to make separate brachas before eating them together. So that's what I said before. That's a proper way. So don't go by minority opinion or majority opinion. If it's easier to satisfy both sides, very simply. If you make 2 blessings, everybody agree, there is no problem. Continue. It is okay. So before we continue, so this is dipping the donut into the coffee. It's one of the cases where we must wash hands before eating that, right? So because it's water is one of the foods that can transfer impurity. So we wash our hands like before the bread, but without blessing. Same with wet apples, wet fruits. And with apple, if you want to eat apple, right? So you just wash your apple. If you dry it completely and your hands are dry, no problem. If there is still moisture on your hands on the fruit, you must wash hands with like you do before the bread.
Rabbi, what's it called? So I had this question like this. In regards to washing the hands in the morning and whenever, pretty much, right? Because we say they might have tumah on them, okay? Now, if you wash...
No, not my food. For sure, you have tumah for sure.
For sure have tumah on them.
Okay,
Sure.
yes.
Okay. What's it called? So my question is, if the cup doesn't have handles, okay, let's say water bottle, you use a water bottle, right? Isn't it a problem because you wash one hand, right? Then use that hand and hold the water bottle, then the water droplets from the bottle, right, from the outside are falling, the tumah is falling back on your hand. So can I make Netilas Yadayim like this?
You can, but I need to think why.
Mm-hmm. But I'm allowed. Okay.
So listen. Okay, so that's the thing is okay. Especially in the morning. So it's I think it's more lenient. So even if you touch like with the wet hands, another hand there is no problem. The way I understand it, because you go 3 times, one alternate fashion. But it would present a problem when you're washing for bread or for this fruit. Let's say for bread, right? So, but there is an exception to the rule. So if you pour complete revis on one hand, it becomes pure. So even if you touch something, so you pour one revis on one hand from the water bottle. I'm using this from the water bottle. So and then you take with that hand, or you can always dry it. There is no problem. If you want to dry. If you want to keep it wet, I take it back. So you take this water bottle. So you put once revis on one hand. Take according to the Shulchan Aruch, it's enough, right? Other poskim say no. So basically, if you put second time, there is no problem whatsoever. So the same you do on the second hand. The issue is when you pour too little. So to purify your hands, you need at least 1 revi. for Revis, as we said, ranges from 3 ounces to 5.2 ounces. Yeah, that's the range. Okay, so I would say if you have 3 ounces of the water, you can rely on that opinion, and you can go and since it is a rabbinical mitzvah, so you can always go by lenient opinion. So when you pour too little on your hands, right? So it says the hand became purified, but the water is impure, right? So if you with that wet hand you're going to touch your dry hand, you're right, it's going to transfer impurity. But if you pour two times, so one time purify the hand, and second time when they pour on the hand, it purifies the water, and that is exactly the reason we have to raise our hands, because if the water goes like too far from the fingers, so some people say you have to wash up to the fingers. Some rabbis say you have to wash up to the wrist, right? So let's say if you go up to the fingers and the water went a little further, right? So this water, so the water is impure, hand is pure. If you and if it goes back, it's going to make this hands impure again. That's why we have to raise our hands.
But I don't fall into this problem at all if I pour a revius, right? Because a revius means all the water is pure afterwards. No.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
Yes, but okay, but since we want to do according to as many poskim as possible, even though Shulchan Aruch said he's very, I mean, it's a more lenient opinion, but Shulchan Aruch paskins like that. So Rima, Mishnah Brura, they say do second time. So to be according to all of the opinions.
I agree with you, but I'm saying, what's it called? If I pour a revius on my hand, right, then I keep switching because I'm gonna pour 2-3 times, right? Absolutely no problems. I don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah. So the water on your hand after revius stays pure. That's everybody agree. I think not everybody, but Shulchan Aruch says that. You can count. So basically, since your hand is pure, you can pour on another hand. Okay. Okay, so I have a very interesting Kiddush for you guys. Okay. After this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so you say don't put yourself in the questionable situation. Make 2 blessings on a coffee, on a donut, and on a coffee. Continue. After making 2 separate brachas, the donut and the coffee may be eaten together. So after you finish, you eat in any fashion you want. Continue. Eat crackers and tuna. The poskim maintain that when crackers are eaten with another food, for example, cheese, tuna, the other food is usually being used to enhance the crackers. Okay, that is to enhance the crackers. Okay. However, if the other food is not being eaten to enhance the cracker, since the sandwich type combination is not single entity, the 2 brachas are required. So as I said, my advice to you, just follow this approach. 2 separate blessings and that's it. For example, if one knows with certainty that he likes tuna more than the crackers, but nevertheless wishes to eat with the crackers, because he enjoys the way the cracker they taste together, neither food is considered toffel, and the other 2 toffel to the other. So there is no like subordinate food, and 2 brachas are required. Commentary. The Baremine Mizones takes precedence to Shechako, of course. So as we said, I mean, it's chapter 11, chapter 4, whatever chapter we are, but we're going to get to it. Okay. Continue. Let me see if we can actually finish this chapter. Second. Okay, let's do maybe a little more in this stuff since it's Shabbos. Wow. Unbelievable. Hi, Aura. Nice to see you. All right,
Hi.
so let's continue. So F, general rules of Ikar and Tofu. Okay. Mechanics of Ikar and Tofu. The Rishonim explained them the mechanics of Ikar and Tofu. So Ikar and primary and subordinate is in the following way. Even though the TOEFL is its subordinate, right, is subordinate to the Ikar, the TOEFL is not considered to be so insignificant as to not require the bracha. Interesting, right? Rather, we consider the bracha made on the Ikar to extend the cover to the TOEFL as well. So it's not like it does not need a blessing. It's just this one covers this one. So right. According to this approach, when the bracha of the Ikar cannot be applied to cover TOEFL food, cannot be applied, the separate brachas on TOEFL will be required. Accordingly, the following rules are derived. A. So we're going to see the examples, and it would be more clear. Must have intention to include TOEFL. So first of all, when you want like something to be secondary, like subordinate, you have to have explicit intention. When one makes bracha on Ikar, on primary, he must have specific intention to include TOEFL. Commentary. In chapter 7, we discuss the halachas of specific intention. Okay, we had this one question is coming up about intention, right? Specific intention. With regard to the covering numerous items with one bracha. Okay, so what intention did he have to include in this blessing, right? For example, one makes the bracha on an apple, that bracha will cover all types of the fruit which has subsequently been eaten, provided that he has a specific intent for additional fruit. Okay, fruits, right? He had this fruit bowl in front of him, and he started with grapes or with apples, and he had the intention to maybe sample all of them, maybe, right? So all of them are covered with this blessing. However, if at the time he makes the bracha, right, on the apple, he has no intention of eating additional food, he subsequently decides to eat other types of fruit, the new bracha is required. So from our intention, depends everything, right? Is it covered, or it's not covered? Based on what? Based on what we think. If he, yeah, go ahead.
What's it called? So I fall into this problem with that because, for example, I kiddush, right? Sometimes you say, hey, wait, I didn't have kavanah, right? So my main, what's it called? I didn't have kavanah that it was going on me, right? And then I keep hearing a psak.
One more time about kiddush. You mean you're the one that making kiddush?
No, I mean hamaitzi. We'll go hamaitzi, kiddush, whatever you want to call it, anyone. Because when you say main, it goes on you, right? You have to make it go on you too.
No. It's not so easy automatically. No. So first of all, a person, there is a leader of the group, whoever his leader is, right? So he has to have intention to include all of you, and you it's a must, right? And you must have intention to be included. Amen is preferable, but not necessary. I mean, after the fact, if you did not answer amen, you still can eat.
Really?
Yes. So basically, if the guy somehow, for whatever reason, he thinks that you want to make your own kiddush. For example, you are guest in somebody's house, and I don't know, he decided somehow in his mind that you're going to make your own kiddush, so you're not included. Even if you wanted to be included, and they pass you wine and say, okay, you can. Why don't you drink? And I said, no, don't drink. Make your own kiddush. They said, why? You made the kiddush. They said, no, I didn't intend to include you for whatever reason. So it always must be explicit intention to include your family, your guests. So I always have this intention. Whoever is around my table, so they must be included. It's clear. I have this clear intention always. But if they don't, so that's the problem.
So I'll make the question a little more simple then. What's it called? Let's say I had kavana beforehand that my bracha was going to include the fruit, right? All the other fruit. I have the apple in front of me, all that other fruit, okay? But what ends up happening is during the bracha itself, right? I forget about all that other fruit, okay? And I simply have kavana for the one apple in front of me. Then what do I do?
Pleasure. Say it again. So you didn't have kavana to eat all other fruits?
I had kavana to eat all the other fruit before I said the bracha.
Okay, all right. That's it.
Then when saying the bracha, I only had kavana for this fruit, then I forgot about all the other fruit. Then what do I do? Does it count as, oh, obviously I have kavana for that as well? Or because what I hear usually by Kiddush, for example, when saying amen and so on and so forth, right? I hear from people that say, I don't know who said this, psak or whatever, but listen, the whole reason you were saying amen, right, and listening, was to have it included on yourself. So even though in your head you didn't actually have kavana that it was going on you, really you did have kavana, something between those lines.
Yeah, so, no, but it makes sense. So by you listening in intensively, right, attentively to what he's saying and answer him amen, right, and you answer amen in a proper place. That shows that you have kavana. That's like outwardly kavan, right? That's how you show with your behavior that you want to be included in this kiddush. Yeah, but proper to have like in your mind kavan also.
Correct. But with this food, so does that food count as a part or not a part? Because I had kavanah before.
Okay, so we go by the second intention, because you change your mind. So first you wanted to eat everything, now you want to eat only one fruit. So we go by this second intention.
So with the question, the whole point was that it's not that I had a second intention. It's just I forgot about that other food. I just forgot I had the bracha in front of me. I was too worried about making this bracha. I forgot about all the other food. Long story short, not that I only wanted this apple.
So okay, so we can go leniently if these fruits were in front of you, even if you did not have intention to eat them, but fruits were in front of you. So since there is one doubt, and people always like to eat whatever is in front of them. So it's like, according to some poskim, there is a doubt. Since in case of the doubt, so we go leniently and say, well, after the fact, don't make separate bracha. It's continue eating fruit, even if you did not have any specific kavanah, nothing. You picked up the apple from the fruit bowl and you start eating. So everything in that fruit bowl is included, basically.
And how long does the kavanah last for the stuff in the fruit bowl? Meaning, how long until burying the flesh? Just like how long? Because let's say But if I have, going back to the question that I asked you before the class started, right? If I'm eating my fruit, I ate a kazayas, right? But then I had kavanah to eat another kazayas, okay? But let's say it happened, right? Where I said burying the flesh just after the first kazayas. Do I have to make another bracha on the second kazayas or no?
Of course, I mean, once you say, but in the fashos, when you say like it's cut off point, that's it.
That's right. But maybe I only had brain and flushes for that first kazayas. I excluded this second kazayas I'm about to have. I still
it's very, very unlikely. But like, tell you what, sometimes I do exactly what you said. So I'm going to tell you what, like for example, I was eating like let's say spaghetti, whatever, my dinner without bread, right? Salad, well. So I would make the blessing, right? I would make the blessing on mizoinest, and I would leave the table and take my drink with me. So to continue drinking, let's say I work on a computer and I continue drinking, and I have an intention when I finish drinking this iced tea, whatever I'm drinking. So I'm drinking. I'm going to say Barem Nefoshes on a salad, and then this drink and everything is included. You understand? So when I say this blessing on mizonis, so it's like separate. I say this is separate and this is separate. I'm continuing eating. Of course, Allah Michian does not cover this salad. Understand?
Wait,
so in some cases you can exclude. You can exclude, yes.
So let's say I did exclude. How long does that exclusion last?
Until I mean, if you continue eating, right? So you're there is a halakhic thing as a eating session until the eating session is over. Eating session is over if you go to if you change locations, for example. Your eating session is over, or you decided that's it. I that's enough. I eat too much. That's it. The eating session is over.
Well, what if you decide, because usually when we say you had a halakhic misconception, right? Then we don't follow, do whatever, right? Do whatever you plan on doing. But let's say you said, okay, this Suda, I'm not going to have it. I made a bracha rishon on this, okay? But the second thing that I want to have a part of my Suda, too many halach shilas, I have to ask Rabbi learn it too many times, so my Suda ended, okay? But if I knew, right, what the halach is, I would have still had it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So once I know what the halach is, do I have to make a bracha rishona, or do I not have to make a bracha rishona, considering that the first food that I had was the same as the second?
It's a very, very difficult question. If you again one more time the scenario. So you did not know what to do, so you stopped eating, and in your mind you decided that's all. My eating session, my session is over, right? Correct.
Right. I said that's all. Then afterwards, someone told me, oh, that's actually the bracha.
No, that's it. No, that's it. Well, once you did this like the stop point, that's it. Your eating session is over. So in this case, so you're not required. One very important thing. In this case, you're not required to make barane nefashos, so bracha achrona after blessing. You're not required. You can make a new blessing and continue eating. But I would advise to go like for sure, according to all of the opinions, don't eat whatever you were eating before. Go to the refrigerator, go to the cabinet, and take something that had nothing to do with that, whatever you're planning to eat, but has the same blessing. I think it would be like according to all of the opinions, and have a mind to eat whatever you're planning to eat now.
Understood.
Okay, so let's stop here. I want to give you a hidush, very interesting.
Okay, can I ask you a few questions first?
Yes. Okay.
What's it called? So if I washed my tzitzis in the morning and I didn't wear them since then, do I make a bracha now or no?
You wash them, and you okay, and you did not wear. Of course, you make a bracha. Of course.
What's the time we have to wait until we say?
Okay. So all right. Okay. So our poskim say 30 minutes.
30
so
minutes.
If you have intention to put them back on, right? So you have 30 minutes according to all the opinions.
Understood. Okay.
So I use this practical example where it applies the most, right? So on Rosh Hashanah we have a little break, right? We discuss this like a little kiddush break, right? Between Shacharis and Musaf. So everybody take off the talis, put it on a bench and go eat, go to the restroom, whatever, go outside to have like fresh air. So, but since in our mind we have intention to put it back on, so it's not considered to be like separation. I mean, it's not the bracha did not end. But if the talis slipped off completely or mostly slipped off, and he put it back on, he needs to make the new blessing because it was not his intention.
I see what you're saying, but my question is like this, for example. Everybody agrees 30 minutes. Got it. I heard that the most, I don't know, stringent, lenient, whatever you want to call it, opinion is 3 hours. I heard. So my question.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Okay. Ask these people if they can have attention for 3 minutes. Just see. Forget about 3 hours. 3 minutes. Like 3. What they say 30 minutes. Only 30 minutes. Like you can, like I don't know. In our generation, I don't know who can have attention span for 30 minutes. But let's say since it's halachically allowed, so you know that you're going to go back and you're going to put this talis on. But otherwise, 3 hours, it's a joke.
So we'll just go like this. Most places can say that after 30 minutes you have to make another bracha. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And the second question is, I talked to you about the Bein Hashmashas thing, about the carrying. It was a bit, it was a difficult.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
So after that, I'm not sure if I told this to you specifically in that or whatever, but what I said to you that maybe I should do 18 minutes, right? I should accept Shabbos during candle lighting, right?
Of course, the best.
Exactly. So now,
Even what's else? So acceptance of Shabbos with a candlelight is nothing special. If you go, so it's not a kumrah, but it says clearly that you have to add to Shabbos. So if you like something, you want to add, right? So and Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatzal they say, Rabbi, okay, tell us what does it mean add? Like what is the minimum requirement to add? He said 2 minutes. So if you want a special blessing, they say all of poskim say, all the chachamim say, add to Shabbos, add extra to Shabbos, from the beginning and to the end. So don't accept. It's like nobody accepts with the sundown.
So according to what I said to you, I was thinking because next Shabbos, let's say I turn on the light 10 minutes before Shkia. Okay, right? Does that count as I have accepted Shabbos and I did a malacha on Shabbos?
No, it's never melacha. So don't. Okay. So first of all, never say that I'm from now on I'm going to accept Shabbos 2 minutes before. Okay, 1 second, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. That's my alarm. Okay, so so basically, never say that I'm going to accept Shabbos. So in your mind, that's what you want to do, but don't do like neder. Otherwise, if you do it 3 times, it's going to be a neder. But don't do it. So you always bli neder.
What's it called? So let's say you're not sure, then what's the case? You're not, you don't know what's going on in your head. You're not sure. Okay, did I make a neder? Did I not make a neder? You don't know anything.
No. Always, it must be your rule in life. Never make a neder.
I hear,
never. I'm telling myself now, whatever I say, it does not count. Does not count. You understand? That's it. So even I forgot, I have fever, I have this, I have that. So it's not a neder basically.
The what we say on Rosh Hashanah before Rosh Hashanah, I think that's
exactly. Yes, that's also works. Yeah, but they say just during the year, so you can remind yourself of this concept. Yes.
So
but you can rely on that. Yes.
Yeah. So still, right now, let's say if I turn on like 10 minutes before Shkia, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, that's all.
Okay. So very quick Hiddush. So we learned this morning in my morning class in Mechtav Miliam. So Rav Dessler Zatzal asked, how is it possible? So it's he's talking through the years to this Menis Friedman, right? Rasha. So he said, how is it possible that the soul in the Gehenna burned forever? How is it possible? He said that you burn the soul once, okay, and there's nothing else to burn. What are you burning there? Okay. So he said there is one special character trait of Rishaim that put themselves apart from everybody else. What is it? Stubbornness. Most of the time they know whatever they're doing is wrong and they continue doing. Why? Because they're stubborn. I want to do my way. Don't tell me what to do. I want to do my way. And this stubbornness, it became their like ikar, this main part of their character. So when they go to Gehenna, they burn everything, but this stubbornness cannot be destroyed. Since during the lifetime, this stubbornness stayed forever. So even after death, this stubbornness goes with him to the Alam Haba, to the Gehenna, and it stayed there, and it's undestroyable. So basically, when they stop burning him, so he reconstitute himself. They reconstitute himself from this stubbornness and continue burn him again. And the Rav Dessler Zatzal said it's like parallel example could be from a loose bone. You know what loose bone is? So loose bone is a bone that cannot be destroyed. From this bone, Mashiach come, resurrection of the dead happened, HaShem, sooner nowadays. So the whole body would be reconstituted from a loose bone. Where is that located? It's a matter of discussion between the rabbis. Some say it's like here on your on your neck. Some say it's like on the bottom of the spine. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. There is a loose bone, and it's also indestructible. So this stubbornness, indestructible, and loose bone is indestructible. This is for good. This is for bad. Okay, so let's stop here. Unless we have any other questions, quickly, and that's it. We have to go. No? All right. Thank you very much. So good Shabbos. Happy Hanukkah. And until Sunday night.
Rabbi.
Yes.
I have a question about Hanukkah.
Please.
If you're on the 5th floor and all you have is like a balcony and you can't nobody can see it, and if you can't put it in the doorway, where could you put it?
No, we have the tradition now. Just put it in a window anyway. So people from the street, they can see. 5th floor is not. It's not actually.
Okay.
Or some people say so. Don't think if it's like this building face nowhere or wherever, nobody can see for sure. So they say put it on a table. On a table in your in the middle of your living room, so people of your house would see it. So because they probably have miracle from that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Stop here.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Take care. Good Shabbos. Until next time.
אני מברך את הרבנים, רגע. אני מברך את הרבנים, הרב ירון ראובן, הרב אפרים כחלון, ראשי ארגון בעזרת השם, שהלכו בפי עליון, שעלו מעלה, יהיה להם ברכה והצלחה, הקדוש ברוך הוא ימלא בישועות ליבם לטובה ולברכה, שבכל מה שיפנו ישכילו ויצליחו, יזכו לעשות כאלה וכאלה, הרדיעו תורה לאדירה, אמן ואמן.
בעזרת השם רשת בכל הארץ. הוא היהודי הזה, הוא היה מיליונר, סגר את כל הביזנס, אמר אני משקיע פה בעולמה של תורה.
איפה הוא גר?
בפלורידה.
פלורידה, איפה זה פלורידה? באמריקה.
במיימי. כן, ליד. אנחנו שם עכשיו הולכים להקים קהילה ספרדית.
חזק אותו בשמי.
קהילה ספרדית גדולה.
תעבירו מה שבירכתי אותו.
כן, קהילה ספרדית גדולה. אני